athiripacha.
There was a beautiful village, and in that village there was a small house. In that house lived a mother, a father, and their 25-year-old son. The son was quite innocent and had a slight memory problem. He searched for a bride in many places, and finally, he got married to a beautiful woman. His mother-in-law's house was on the other side of the river. One day, after the wedding, he went to his mother-in-law's house for some work. Since the son-in-law had come, they specially prepared Kozhukkattai, a South Indian sweet dumpling, for him. He loved it so much that when he returned home, he wanted his wife to make it for him as well. While being served on a banana leaf, he asked his mother-in-law, "Aunt, what is this dish called?" She replied, "This is Kozhukkattai." After finishing his work, he started his journey back home in the evening. To ensure he didn't forget the name of the dish, he kept repeating, "Kozhukkattai, Kozhukkattai, Kozhukkattai," all along the way. On his way, he had to cross a small pond. While crossing it, he suddenly lost track of what he was saying and, out of fear, exclaimed, "Athiripacha!" After that, he completely forgot the original name of the dish and kept muttering, "Athiripacha, athiripacha," all the way home. Upon reaching home, he excitedly told his wife, "Your mother made me athiripacha, and it was so delicious. Please make it for me too." His wife was confused and said, "There is no such dish. Who told you about athiripacha?" Then she calmly asked him to go to sleep. However, he kept pestering her non-stop. At one point, she lost her temper and, in frustration, threw a utensil at him, which hit him on the head. A swelling appeared on his forehead. Just then, a friend entered and, noticing his swollen head, asked, "Hey, why does your head look swollen like a kozhukkattai?" Suddenly, the man jumped with joy and ran to his wife, exclaiming, "Yes! Yes! Kozhukkattai! That's what I wanted! I want Kozhukkattai!" His wife, now even more frustrated, said, "You gave me such a hard time just because you forgot the name Kozhukkattai." In a town, there was a wealthy businessman. He was extremely rich and owned a luxurious house. He had many servants and treated them with great kindness, even though they were quite foolish. One day, 3 important men came to meet him. The businessman was sitting upstairs, talking with them. Meanwhile, downstairs, the servants were listening to the radio at a very high volume. The loud noise disturbed the conversation upstairs, so the businessman called a servant and told him, "Stop the radio." The servant quickly ran to his fellow workers and said, "The master has asked us to stop the radio. The radio is still playing. Maybe we don't realize how to stop it." So, all 4 of them held the radio tightly, thinking it would stop. After some time, the noise didn't reduce. The businessman, getting irritated, called the servant again and asked, "Why haven't closed the radio yet?" The servant ran inside and told his friends, "The master says to cover the radio." He then took a big blanket and covered the radio. But still, the sound continued. A while later, the businessman lost his patience and shouted, "You fools! Turn off the radio!" The servant once again rushed to his friends and told them, "The master says to off the radio." The 3 servants looked at each other, confused. "What does off mean?" one of them asked. Suddenly, one of them had an idea. "I think off means half," he said. "Just to be sure, let's ask the master." One of them shouted from downstairs, "Sir, off means half, right?" The businessman, caught up in his conversation, absent-mindedly replied, "Yes, yes, now go." The servant ran back excitedly and told his friends, "Yes!" The master himself confirmed that off means half. So they concluded that the businessman wanted them to cut the radio in half. Without hesitation, the 3 of them grabbed a huge hammer and smashed the radio into pieces. Hearing the loud noise, the businessman and his guests rushed downstairs, only to find the radio completely broken. Shocked and frustrated, the businessman yelled, "What have you done?" The servant innocently replied, "Sir, you yourself said that off means half, so we broke the radio into 2. The businessman held his head in disbelief, regretting the fact that he had to deal with such foolish workers.
Dark City Foolish King.
The guru, along with his two disciples, Narayan Das and Govardhan Das, wandered from village to village and finally reached a town named Andheri Nagari. The town was very beautiful. Upon seeing the town, the guru said to Narayan Das, "This town is very prosperous and beautiful. It would be good if we could get some alms here by the grace of God." Narayan Das agreed, Yes, the town is beautiful. It would be great if we also get good food." Narayan Das and Govardhan Das went in different directions to collect alms in Andheri Nagari. Govardhan Das went to the market street and stood in a vegetable shop asking for the price of the vegetables. The shopkeeper said, "Whichever vegetable you take, it's 1 rupee per kilo." Govardhan Das was surprised. "What? Any vegetable for 1 rupee per kilo?" Then he went to a nearby sweet shop and asked for the price of halwa. The shopkeeper said, "Here, whichever sweet you buy, it's 1 rupee per kilo." Govardhan Das was overjoyed. He asked the shopkeeper, "What is the name of your town?" The shopkeeper replied, "Our town's name is Andheri Nagari." Govardhan Das asked, "What is the name of your king?" The shopkeeper replied, "Our king is called the Foolish King." Govardhan Das said, "Cashews for 1 rupee per kilo, halwa for 1 rupee per kilo. This is a good town." The sweet shopkeeper then said to Govardhan Das, "You can take whatever you want." Govardhan Das replied, "I have collected alms and have 7 rupees. Please give me 3.5 kilos of sweets." The guru said to Govardhan Das, "You seem to have gotten good alms today. It looks like you have a big bundle in your hand." Govardhan Das replied, "Yes, Guruji, I received 7 rupees in alms today. With that, I bought 3.5 kilos of sweets." The guru said, Yes. Narayan Das told me that in this town, everything costs 1 rupee per kilo. I inquired about this town, and he told me that even a kilo of cashews costs 1 rupee, and a kilo of vegetables also costs 1 rupee. Govardhan Das added, "This town's name is Andheri Nagari, and the king's name is Foolish King." The guru then said, "We should not stay in such a town where everything, from a kilo of cashews to a kilo of vegetables, is sold at the same price of 1 rupee. We should not live in a place where such things are sold at equal prices, not even for a moment." Govardhan Das retorted, "I won't leave this town. No matter how much I eat elsewhere, my stomach never feels full. Here I can eat to my heart's content. I will stay here." The guru replied, "Listen to my words. If you don't, you'll regret it later. I am leaving, but before I go, let me tell you one thing. If you ever find yourself in danger, think of me." With that, the guru left. One day, a foolish king was approached by a farmer in his court. The farmer complained, "Oh, king, my goat has died because the wall of the grocery shop next door collapsed." Hearing this, the king ordered his soldiers to summon the grocer. When the grocer was brought before the king, he said, "O king, the real culprit is the mason who built the wall. He did not construct it properly." The king then ordered the mason to be brought in. When the mason arrived, he defended himself by saying, "O king, it is not my fault. The person who applied the cement is to blame. He did not do it correctly." So the king ordered the cement worker to be brought in. When the cement worker arrived, he said, "O king, the one who mixed the cement is at fault. He made the mixture too watery." The king then ordered the cement mixer to be summoned. When he arrived, he explained, "O king, the person who poured the water is responsible. He added too much water, making the mixture too thin." The king then summoned the person who poured the water. He came before the king and said, "O king, the one who stitched the water bag is at fault. He made the bag too big, which is why I poured too much water." Upon hearing this, the king immediately ordered the person who stitched the bag to be brought in. The person who stitched the bag said, "O king, the shepherd is responsible. He sold me a large goat skin, which is why the bag became too big." Hearing this, the king immediately ordered the shepherd to be brought in. When the shepherd arrived, the king asked, "Why did you sell such a large goat to him?" The shepherd replied, "O king, when I was selling the goat, a town guard passed by with a large crowd. The noise they made confused me, and I mistakenly gave him a bigger goat." The king then ordered the town guard to be summoned. When the guard arrived, the king decided that he was the real culprit. The town guard pleaded, "O king, I have done nothing wrong. Why are you punishing me?" But the king refused to listen. He declared, "I cannot forgive you. You will be hanged tomorrow." Govardhan Das was sitting comfortably, enjoying a plate of halwa, when suddenly 4 or 5 royal guards surrounded him. They declared that he was under arrest. "Sir, what crime have I committed? Why are you arresting me?" Govardhan Das asked in shock. One of the guards replied, "A goat collapsed against a wall and died. The king has ordered your execution for this incident." Govardhan Das was bewildered. "How am I responsible for the goat's death?" he questioned. The guards explained, "The village watchman was arrested for the goat's death. The king sentenced him to death. But when we took him to the gallows, we realized the noose was too thick, and the watchman was too thin for it. So, we had to find someone with a neck that fit the noose. That person is you." Govardhan Das was horrified. "Oh, what an injustice! The name of this village is Nagar, Dark Town, and it truly lives up to its name. My master was right. I should have listened to him instead of enjoying my time here," he lamented. As soon as he thought of his guru, the guru appeared before him. "What happened, Govardhan Das?" the guru asked. Govardhan Das narrated the whole incident. The guru then turned to the guards and said, "Before you hang my disciple, I must whisper a sacred mantra in his ear. Please grant me permission." The guards agreed. The guru leaned in and whispered something to Govardhan Das. Suddenly, Govardhan Das exclaimed, "Guru, I will go to the gallows. You must not take my place." The guru protested, "No, no, I will go to the gallows. I am your guru, and you must obey me." The two of them began arguing, each insisting on being the one to be hanged. The commotion drew the attention of the king and the village watchman. "What is all this noise?" the king demanded. The guards explained, "These two are fighting over who gets to be hanged." The king turned to the guru and asked, "Why are you saying such a thing?" The guru replied, "Your Majesty, this moment is extremely auspicious. Anyone who dies now will go straight to heaven and live in eternal bliss." Upon hearing this, the minister eagerly stepped forward. "Your Majesty, please hang me. I want to go to heaven." A guard also pleaded, "You arrested me first. I should be hanged first." The king listened to all this and then declared, "Silence. I am the king. I have the first right to go to heaven. Hang me immediately. That is my order." And so, the foolish king was hanged. The guru and his disciple quickly fled the town, leaving behind the chaos.